The United States does not torture. George W. Bush. We are dealing with Star Wars. It involves the combination of chemtrails for creating an atmosphere that will support electromagnetic waves. Ground-based electromagnetic field oscillators called gyrotrons. Ionospheric heaters. Particulates make directed energy weapons work better. It has to do with steady state and particle density for plasma beam propagation. They spray barium powders and let it photoionize from the ultraviolet light of the sun. Then, they make an aluminum plasma generated by zapping the metal cations that are in the spray with either electromagnetics from HARP. The Gyrotron system on the Ground Wave Emergency Network, GWEN. Space-based lasers. The barium makes the aluminum plasma more particulate dense. This means they can make a denser plasma than they normally could from just ionizing the atmosphere or the air. More density, more particles means that these particles which are colliding into each other will become more charged because there are more of them present to collide. What are they ultimately trying to do up there, is create charged particle, plasma beam weapons. Chemtrails are the medium. GWEN pulse radars, the various HARPs, and space-based lasers are the method, or more simply, chemtrails are the medium, directed energy is the method. Spray and zap. This system appears to be in Russia, Canada, the United States, and all of Europe. Exotic weapons can be mobile, stationary, land-based, aerial, or satellite. It is an offensive and defensive system against EM attacks and missiles. It uses ionospheric particle shells as defense mechanisms like a bug zapper shell against missiles and EM attacks. That means they spray and then pump up the spray with electromagnetics. When these shells are created using the oscillating, electromagnetic, gyrotron stations, it excludes and displaces the background magnetic field. These shells can be layered one above another in a canopy fashion for extra protection from missiles. The chemtrail sprays have various elements in them like carbon which can use to absorb microwaves. Some of these sprays have metal flakes in them that make aerial craft invisible to radar, spoofer sprays. Sprays like these can be used to create colorful, magnetized plasmas to cloak fighter jets. There are satellite weapons involved. Activists are using meters and are getting readings of microwaves, X-rays, and some other kind of emission that they are not sure of, maybe a low-intensity laser. They are also photographing gas plasma generation due to the heating of chemtrails by electromagnetics. The technical names are columnar focal lenses and horizontal drift plasma antennas. Various size of gas plasma orbs are associated with this technology. These orbs can be used as transmitters and receivers because they have great refractory and optical properties. They also are capable of transmitting digital or analog sound. Barium, in fact, is very refractive, more refractive than glass. What does that mean? Someone or someones are very involved in unconstitutional, domestic spying, and the entrained plasma orbs carried on electromagnetic beams can be used for mind control programming. The satellites can be programmed to track and monitor various frequencies on different parts of your body. These electromagnetic beams carrying the gas plasma orbs do magnetic polarity and frequency mapping and tracking to people's eyes, ears, temples, and private parts. A beam with entrained orbs carries pictures in each orb just like the different frames in a movie. It is a particle beam that is also a frequency weapon. The satellites download holographic mind control movies, pictures, sounds, and sensations to people through this technology. The Air Force has stated in Air Force 2025 that their goal is to develop virtual and augmented reality mind control. Depending on how the computer is programmed or depending on the mood or intent of the person interfacing with the technology, you can be probed, bothered, gaslighted, frightened, manipulated, electronically raped, or tortured. It scans your brain frequencies and deciphers your thoughts. The satellites track you by mapping your bioenergetic signature body biometrics and constantly scanning an area to find you. We are the lab rats for this technology, and something is very wrong in the military or intelligence branches somewhere. Because developmental projects in government and military are often so compartmentalized, I suppose someone could be using and developing this technology secretly and without authorization. Then again, behavioral and mind control programs were an authorized policy under Gultra. Our country has a history of experimenting on its citizens. We are talking about satellite-charged particle frequency weapons attacking a person 24 hours a day. Psychotronic weapons are considered weapons of mass destruction by the UN. HARPs can create earthquakes and can also X-ray the Earth to find underground military bases, gold, or oil reserves. These ionospheric heaters can also operate as an over-the-horizon or under-the-ocean communications system. This system can control the weather or create disasters. Taken together with the Aurora keyhole through your roof satellite surveillance system, Echelon electronic computer/phone sweeps, plasma cloak drug war helicopters and stealths, implants, and cameras on the street, it constitutes one big global and space control grid. These weapons involve beams. Two beams overlapped will couple into a particle ion beam that will bounce off of a remote target and send a holographic image back to the satellite for remote spying operations. When you cross two strong beams, you can supposedly create scalar energies. These energies can be used as untraceable weapons for nuclear-size explosions or for defense. These crossed energies can be used to cause a person's physical electrical system to fail, or with a lower frequency, administer a kind of remote electroshock. Visualize touching a positive and negative electric cable to each other on top of your head. Scalar energies can be utilized in handheld military guns and on tanks. They can dud out electronics or cause large, electrical blackouts. Scalar energies are practically impossible to shield against. You need lead, ceramics, and a deep underground facility to not be affected by these weapons. Or, you need to be up and above the field of battle. People who are working on these issues hear tones and hums. If you hear persistent tones and static, have body vibrations, burning sensations, bangs to the head, neurological damage, or immune system damage, are hearing electronic voices or hearing the sound of a plasma, suffering from pains deep in your organs or constant headaches, or experiencing other anomalous activity, then you may be being targeted by directed energy, mind control weapons. These weapons could be on helicopters, jets, stealth fighters, or on satellites. Directed energy beams and electromagnetic waves can be sent to you via handheld devices or piggybacked in on cell phone and satellite towers. Is it possible that someone are very afraid of coming famines and riots due to the ongoing, man-induced failure of the ecological system, and they are saturating the earth with chemtrails for large-scale, gas plasma mind control? Is this the last grasp for the world's resources? Or, are they just control freaks and money-mongers? Someone would like to get to that oil under the melting due to chemtrail-trapped heat Arctic. And, I guess the third world is not a part of this system. I don't think that the developed nations are going to let them in on this either. Any country that joins this NATO system will become mind-controlled and diseased due to the associated, intense, oscillating, electromagnetic fields, electromagnetic soup, and the poisonous, toxic chemtrails. Our DNA will break. We risk the Earth's spin and tilt becoming messed up due to mucking around with the magnetic fields through this military technology. Maybe, it is already messed up. It constitutes US global domination via NATO and the erosion of civil rights. According to Charlotte Iserbyt and Al Martin, there are XKG of overflights by Russian and German military. Who exactly is flying those plasma-cloaked craft that are seen all over this country and mistaken for UFOs by people who do not know about this aerial deception technology? Obviously, we have another Project Paperclip in the making. We can add the new thugs to the 2,000 Iraqi brought into country by Daddy Bush who are now living in Nebraska. The elitist corporate government is going to hold the rest of us hostage with directed energy weapons in space, if the policy for a new American Century Group, PNAC, Bush and crony think tank has their way, along with directed energy attacks against any country or citizen that they decide they do not like. These weapons can create climate war, weather war, mind war, cyber war, disease war, disaster war, undetectable war. Taken together they can create economic war. If this system is not stopped, it will kill billions due to aluminum and barium poisoning. It will kill billions due to crop failures and worldwide famine. It will cause heart attacks, strokes, and cancers. It will cause stillbirths, miscarriages, and infertility. The chemtrail sprays often have fungi, bacteria, viruses, desiccated red blood cells, crystalline substances, carbon, metal cations, lithium, other chemicals, heavy metals, and God knows what, probably smart dust, or nano crap. Years of biowarfare testing on the American public is no big secret anymore. Spraying germs in the sky where they mutate due to the ultraviolet light, brilliant plan, my man. Are we acceptable losses or is this by design? I know that many of the major players have big investments in pharmaceutical companies, GM seeds that can grow in an electromagnetic suit, weapons, and directed energy development contracts, oil contracts, genetic research, and mind control research. Some of these people have had a familial history of financial and policy support for population control, eugenics, Hitler, Mao, Stalin, Lenin, Marx, Pinochet, Hussein, and various other dictators. Some of the major players were the masterminds of the death squads in Central and South America. They stand to make a big profit on our death and disease. Just take a look at Rumsfeld and Tamiflu. I assume that they know the dangers of this system and that they take care to stay in their shielded, air-filtered offices, homes, bases, and cars. I assume they take chelating substances to remove the barium and aluminum from their bodies and minds. If not, then they really do not understand the far-ranging implications of this destructive system. Congress may not understand just what a terrible weapons system and control grid they are funding. As I understand it, Tesla towers attached to deep earth, free energy taps are to be created over the 10 to 12 magnetic poles and the Gwent system phased out. Has this already been done? This should allow total control of the earth through giant, Tesla death ray guns. This natural, electromagnetic earth was not meant to be an unnatural dynamo to power man's weapons or his utility companies. Over Unity Systems Tesla devices are as of yet, another unexplored and probably not understood man-made energy. We should be very suspect of free energy. As we can see, the forms of man-made energy that have been created and used in the past have not been good for this planet. Maybe it is time to reconsider the options available to us through the development of crops for fuel, wind, solar, and water power. We need worldwide, different, more holistic, renewable, energy programs. Is there any good news? Yes. There has been tons of particulate dumping through the spray operations for 8 years over the Americas, Europe, Scandinavia, Eastern Europe, and from what I can find out, over Russia. And, what goes around blows around, right?